Hello everyone, this is Sahil Kamath, a student of first year BAMS studying at Gomantak Ayurvedic Mahavidyalaya and Research Center, Shiroda, Goa. The topic for this video is metabolic disorders. So to begin with, let us understand what is metabolism. So metabolism is the process your body uses to get or make energy from the food you eat. Food is basically made up of proteins, carbohydrates and fats. Chemicals in your digestive system break the food parts down into sugars and acids, your body's fuel. Your body can use this fuel right away, or it can store the energy in your body tissues such as your liver, muscles, and body fat. So, it is the biochemical process that allows people to grow, reproduce, repair damage, and respond to their environment. It consists of two processes: catabolism, which means producing energy from breaking down large molecules into smaller ones. For example, breaking down carbohydrate molecules into glucose. And the second is anabolism, which means consuming energy to build new cells, maintaining body tissues, and storing energy. Now, what is a metabolic disorder? A metabolic disorder occurs when abnormal chemical reactions in your body disrupt the metabolic process. When this happens, you might have too much of some substance or too little of other ones that you need to stay healthy. They are conditions that can affect any aspect of metabolism. As a result, some people may produce too much or too little of a substance to remain healthy. For example, diabetes interferes with how the body uses or regulates the hormone insulin. Insulin helps glucose to enter cells around the body and provide energy. It also allows the body to store glucose in muscle or liver tissue. As insulin does not work correctly in people with diabetes, it can result in high levels of glucose in the blood, which can cause a range of health problems. Some causes for the metabolic disorders can be genetics. Genes can influence metabolic processes in a variety of ways. For example, people with Gaucher's disease have a genetic mutation that limits the production of glucocerebrosidase, an enzyme for breaking down fats. This can cause a harmful buildup of fat around the body. Second is organ dysfunction. Organs involved in metabolism can fail to function properly. Example is diabetes, where the pancreas is unable to produce sufficient insulin to regulate the blood glucose level. The third can be mitochondrial dysfunction. Mitochondria are small parts of cells that produce energy. Mutations of the mitochondria or cell DNA or environmental triggers can affect how well mitochondria function and how much energy they can produce. Some examples of metabolic disorders are diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disorder where the immune system mistakenly attacks cells in the pancreas and limits insulin production. Type 2 diabetes is where the body is unable to use insulin properly. And gestational diabetes affects some people during pregnancy and usually goes away after birth. The next is Gaucher's disease. Gaucher's disease is a rare genetic disorder. It is the result of a genetic mutation that limits the production of glucocerebrosidase. Insufficient amounts of this enzyme can cause the accumulation of lipids, which are fatty substances, and this accumulates in the liver, spleen, okay, which can cause them to grow larger than they should be. Next is hemochromo- hemochromatosis. Hemochromatosis is a condition that affects how the body absorbs iron. The disease can cause iron buildups that can lead to symptoms including tiredness or weakness, joint pains, stomach pain, darkening of the skin. Another example is phenylketonuria. Phenylketonuria is where someone is born without the ability or has a reduced ability to produce phenylalanine hydroxylase. This is an enzyme that is important for processing amino acids. Metabolic processes use amino acids to build proteins which are essential for bodily growth and development. Ayurveda is the life science and it's the correct choice for metabolic disorders. Ayurveda explains metabolic disorders as Agni Vaishamya, that is, problems in digestion and absorption. This condition occurs due to vitiation of the digestive fire, This can happen due to doshic imbalance, a condition occur due to blockage in the individual channels of metabolism. As a result of this, excess or improper digestion and absorption occurs and results in disease. Ayurveda clearly indicates the correction of digestive fire by internal herbal medicinal formulations along with correct diet regimes, physical activity, and sedative external treatment modalities which remove the channel blockages, detoxifies the body and internal organs. Obesity. Obesity is a complex disease involving an excessive amount of body fat. It just isn't a cosmetic concern, but it's a medical problem that increases the risk of other diseases and health problems such as heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, and certain cancers. The specific causes of obesity includes genetics, which can affect how your body processes food into energy and how fat is stored. Growing older, which can lead to less muscle mass and a slower metabolic rate, making it easier to gain weight. Not sleeping enough, which can lead to hormonal changes that can make you feel hungrier and crave certain high calorie food. Eating more calories than you burn in daily activity and exercise on a long term basis can lead to obesity. Over time, these extra calories add up and cause weight gain. Obesity is closely linked to metabolic disorder. This is linked to a condition called insulin resistance. Normally, your digestive system breaks down the foods you eat into sugar. Insulin is a hormone made by your pancreas that helps sugar enter your cells to be used as a fuel. In people with insulin resistance, cells do not respond normally to insulin and glucose can't enter the cells as easily. As a result, your blood sugar levels rise even as your body churns out more and more insulin to try to lower your blood sugar. Abdominal obesity is the most frequently observed component of metabolic syndrome. The metabolic disorder clustering of abdominal obesity, dyslipidemia, hyperglycemia, and hypertension is a major public health challenge. High blood sugar is said to be the proverbial tip of the iceberg, and underlying this is a host of metabolic imbalances associated with metabolic disorder seen in overweight and obese patients with excess abdominal fat and insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is considered a key factor connecting obesity and metabolic disorder. It must be remembered that individuals with abdominal obesity are at a greater risk of insulin resistance and therefore metabolic disorder as compared to others. Obese individuals also have raised blood levels of CRP, that is C reactive protein, an inflammatory marker that can predict the risk of heart attacks. These levels are also raised in individuals with insulin resistance and metabolic disorder. The protein adiponectin is also abundant in the blood and comes from fatty tissues. These levels are reduced in obese individuals with excess abdominal obesity. Adiponectin in normal individuals helps prevent insulin resistance and also protects against atherosclerosis. The reduced adiponectin levels in obese individuals could thus connect diabetes, obesity, and metabolic symptoms. Now, how to prevent metabolic disorder? The first thing is eat better. Adopt a diet rich in whole grains, fruits, vegetables, skinless poultry, fish, nuts, low fat or fat free dairy products, lean meats, and vegetable protein. Limit processed foods, saturated and trans fats, red meat, sodium, and added sugars. Second is get active. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity a week. And the last is reduce your risk for heart disease by successfully losing weight and keeping it off. Balance healthy eating with a healthy level of exercise to reach your goals. So here we end with the video. I thank Mohanty ma'am for giving me this topic as a PV non-lecture project. Thank you.